Hi again then guys, and welcome to another installment of the Automotive News Roundup, where we basically keep you in the loop in automotive news, exotic racing, that kind of stuff, sometimes even motorcycles that you might have missed in the recent days or even hours, or maybe a week or so in a car that might be more obscure. And this one is a car that we've talked about before, but when we last spoke about it, it was a car that was still very much in the conceptual phase in terms of design. We hadn't seen anything official yet, apart from a sketch, that is. Now, though, we have our first look at the car from the back end, and that is, of course, Gordon Murray's T.50. And for those who are maybe newer to the channel and don't know what I'm talking about, this is basically his revival of the spirit of the McLaren F1. It's not built by McLaren, this is Gordon Murray's own company this time around, but interestingly, it still looks quite a lot like a McLaren. In fact, a modern McLaren, not just an F1. The back end and the kind of darker carbon accenting that the car has reminds me quite a lot of the McLaren Elva and also the 675 Longtail. But you can certainly see a lot of McLaren F1 in there. The rear window, the way the roof scoop integrates into that is very reminiscent of the F1, and even those small side windows, which of course are much simpler for operation, less moving parts, lighter weight, etc. Again, very reminiscent of that iconic F1. But now, of course, the centerpiece of the design, which is that ground effect fan system, which you can see at the back, really comes into the fore. Because originally it was a sketch, as I said, but now we can see what it's going to look like. Or at least what it's most likely going to look like if he doesn't change any smaller details. One of the things I like the most about the car is its simplicity. Just like the F1, it's very clearly completely function over form. The McLaren F1 doesn't try to be a pretty car, it's a purely analog, totally focused piece of engineering, and that's why the Veyron took so much inspiration from that. Neither of them are necessarily going to win a beauty pageant, but they were both the fastest cars in the world for a reason. And this one, I believe, could probably bring quite a lot to the table. Now, he's not aiming, as far as I know, to make it the fastest car in the world in a straight line. That would certainly be difficult with a ground effect fan. It kind of works against that idea. But I am very keen to see what this can do around a track, because it's going to be fast, we know that. McLarens are already fast and they don't even utilise a ground effect system. The McLaren F1 is still fast around a track by today's standards, let alone back in the early 90s. So I'm very keenly looking forward to seeing what Gordon Murray can bring back to the table. And I'm also curious to see what fan integration, ground effect fan integration, is really going to feel like in a production vehicle, regardless of how limited said production is going to be, because it's never been done before. It's been utilised in smaller ways. The McLaren F1 had a couple of small fans under the body to have a similar effect, but it wasn't a true ground effect car. It wasn't a sealed underbody, it didn't have the large fans, didn't have the iconic rear exit that the Chaparral and the Brabham and this one have. So this is going to be the first true fan car. And I, for one, I'm looking forward to that. But that's it for this bit of news. Of course, stick around on the channel for more, not just related to this car, but others too. And for now, as always, thanks for watching.